All right, we're starting off with 2 jars of our Alfredo sauce in our crock pot. Next, I'm gonna add 3 large chicken breasts right into our sauce. It's gonna be super easy and delicious crock pot dinner with a healthy twist. I have 1 cup of freshly shredded mozzarella that we're gonna put right in there with our Alfredo sauce and our chicken. You can use whatever cheese you like, a white cheddar, a Swiss, whatever you like. I love mozzarella. Next, we're gonna add a couple tablespoons of garlic. I'm using garlic, but you could obviously use fresh. I just think that the taste comes a little bit more through with the garlic because it's been marinating in its own juices. All right, that looks absolutely perfect. Now, before we get this cooking, we are gonna season this up. I have my Perfect Pinch Italian seasoning. This is my favorite Italian seasoning, but you can season this however you like. All of my recipes are super customizable. I am gonna season this heavily though, because those chicken breasts are pretty large and we wanna make sure that we have enough flavor going on in our dinner. Now, of course, we're gonna do some garlic powder. I know I always add too much garlic, but I love it. You guys can skip it. Perfect. And garlic powder's best friend, onion powder. This already smells so good. All I smell is garlic and cheese. Delicious. Last but not least, we're gonna do some black pepper. And we are just gonna do a good amount of black pepper. I love black pepper, so I like to go heavy-handed on there. All right, and this is ready to start cooking. I'm gonna put my lid on and we're gonna pop this on high so dinner can be ready quick. All right, it's been 3 hours on high and we're actually gonna keep it on high. But let's go ahead and check this out. Oh my goodness, my whole house smells so delicious. All right, before we continue on, I'm gonna grab my electric hand mixer and we're gonna use this to shred our chicken. So we're just gonna go right into it. And look at that. Shred your chicken so quick. All right, and look at that. All of our chicken is perfectly shredded. We only made a little mess, but this is ready for our last ingredient. So normally you would add a pasta to this, but we're gonna keep it a little healthy and we're gonna add 2 bags of our frozen broccoli. Alfredo and broccoli go so well together. So this is gonna be such a delicious dinner. Low carb, tasty, even your kids will eat this. So I'm giving this a good mix, and remember we kept our heat on, but this is gonna only need to be in there for about 30 more minutes, which is why we add the broccoli in at this point. So let's go ahead and put our lid back on and let that broccoli cook. All right, you guys, that 30 minutes is up. We're gonna go ahead and turn this off and let's check it out. Woo, it's so good. I do wanna note, if you want a thicker sauce, use fresh broccoli instead of frozen, but look how delicious this looks. Proteins, veggie, deliciousness. This is a great dinner. Serve it with some garlic bread if you do want some carbs, but I'm gonna keep it low carb. Looks so good. That chicken is cooked perfectly. The broccoli is cooked perfectly. Cannot wait to eat this. All right, that was 1 bag of our halved Brussels sprouts on our sheet pan, and we're just gonna spread these out. Next, I'm gonna come in with my olive oil, and we're gonna do a drizzle of olive oil on our Brussels sprouts. This is such an easy and delicious, just quick appetizer or meal if that's what you prefer. There's a lot of good calories in Brussels sprouts, so you could eat this as a full meal. All right, that drizzle looks absolutely perfect. Next, I'm gonna come in with some pepper, and I'm gonna freshly grate my pepper on top of my Brussels sprouts. You could use whatever seasonings you like, but I'm keeping it simple. And of course, we gotta do some salt. Now I'm gonna bring in my Parmesan wedge, and we are gonna grate some Parmesan right on top of our sheet pan. This is gonna be so easy, so delicious. Am I doing this the right way?
No, that's wrong.
There we go, so easy, so delicious. You know, I'm trying my best, you guys. I don't grate cheese very often, so if I do it wrong, that's why. All right, so we just used that tip of our cheese wedge. I'm bringing in my food grade gloves, and we're just gonna give this a nice toss so that seasoning, that olive oil, and that cheese gets evenly distributed onto our Brussels sprouts. I just flatten that out again. Next, I'm gonna bring in my sheet pan rack, and we're gonna place that right on top of our Brussels sprouts. It's okay if it touches the Brussels sprouts, but that rack is gonna hold our bacon. So as the bacon cooks, that grease is gonna fall to our Brussels sprouts, and it's gonna make them extra delicious. So we're gonna go ahead and quickly line up our bacon right on top. All right, so now that this is ready, my oven is set to 400 and it's gonna be in there for 20 to 25 minutes. Oh my, this smells incredible, you guys. I cannot wait to give it a try. So I have my cutting board here, and I'm gonna quickly transfer our perfectly cooked bacon to our cutting board. This is optional, but I think it really pulls all of the flavors together. All right, and then we're gonna quickly chop up our bacon. All right, that looks perfect. So let's go ahead and remove our rack from our Brussels sprouts. And we are gonna place that bacon with our Brussels sprouts. Oh yeah, it's absolutely delicious. Give this nice toss. Serve it up. Delicious side dish. Brussels sprouts and bacon. Okay, get a little bit of that bacon, a Brussels sprout. I'm excited.
Is it good?
That is so good. Oh my gosh. Wow, you have to try this. It's just our chocolate chip cookie dough. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab my silicone muffin tin, and we're gonna quickly grease our muffin tin with some Pam. Beautiful. Now we're gonna place our coins of chocolate chip cookie dough into each of our cups. Now you can make homemade cookie dough if that's your preference, but this is gonna be a super easy, super fun treat for Halloween that everyone will love. Now I'm using the silicone muffin tin, but if you don't have a silicone muffin tin, that's totally fine. Just make sure you grease your cups really well. So let's get our cookie dough in there quickly. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven at 350 for 12 to 15 minutes. All right, while our cookies are cooking, I'm gonna grab a medium-sized bowl, and we're gonna add our chocolate instant pudding right into our bowl. Oh my goodness, this is gonna go so nicely with our cookies. We're gonna add our chocolate milk. I like using chocolate milk instead of regular milk when I make chocolate pudding because it just makes sense in my brain. And make sure that your milk is cold. Oh, we have the perfect amount. 2 cups is all we needed. Pour that in there. Oh my, this is gonna be so good. Obviously, you can do regular milk if that's what you prefer, but I wanted this to be extra chocolate. So we're gonna whisk this together until it is fully well combined and make sure that there are no dry parts, no lumps. We want it to be nice and creamy and smooth. Oh my, I love chocolate, especially around spooky season. I just think it is the best treat, best flavor for fall, and that's why we're making this easy, delicious dessert. Okay, this is ready, and we're gonna pop this in the fridge until those cookies are done. Oh my goodness, these are perfectly cooked. They're right out of the oven. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our little shot glass, and we're gonna spray our shot glass with a little bit of Pam so that we can create divots in our cookie dough just like this, super quick. Oh my, these smell so delicious. Now, obviously I did the chocolate chip cookies, but you can do sugar cookie, you can do a double chocolate cookie dough, you can do whatever kind of cookie you want. Now we're gonna go ahead and let these cool completely. All right, we let our cookies cool down. I'm coming in with our chocolate pudding in a cookie scoop, and we're gonna scoop our pudding right into that little divot we made with our shot glass. So we have our chocolate chip cookies with our chocolate pudding, and do not worry, we are gonna add a fun little twist to these. I love making these. They're so great for like a little Halloween party, especially if your kid needs to bring a treat for school, or it's just great for, you know, any occasion because they are tasty, they're easy to put together, and everyone loves them. So let's go ahead and get our pudding in each one. All right, we're gonna come in with our dark chocolate Oreos, and I actually pre-crushed these, and we're gonna sprinkle on our Oreo crumbs onto our pudding to create a dirt-like texture. I know it sounds weird, but this is kind of like a nostalgic little treat with my own twist on it because I love these flavors. I love chocolate chip cookies, I love chocolate pudding, and I love Oreos. You can use whatever Oreo you like. You could even use the mini ones if you don't wanna buy a whole package, but I think the dark chocolate is great because you really get like that soil-like look with the dark chocolate cream. So we're just adding a decent amount of these Oreo crumbs on each cookie. All right, we want these to look like little dirt cups, so we're coming in with our gummy worms, and we are just gonna lay those right into our Oreo soil, just like so. You can use whatever candy you like. I just think that these little worms are so fun, so tasty. You kind of get like a little fruity taste with that chocolate, which who doesn't love that? So let's add 1 gummy worm right on top of here before we add our spooky twist. Last one. Our little worms are in the soil, and now we're gonna make this a pumpkin patch. So we're gonna add our little pumpkin candy. These are my favorite candy. I always like to get these every year, and look at that. Our little pumpkin patch is ready to eat. Ooh. Obviously you can customize this to your liking, but I think this is so fun just as is, and anyone that you make these for will love them. Let's serve these up. I have the cutest ghost plates, and the best part about our silicone muffin tin is that these will just pop right out. So if you ever have issues making these little cookie cups, I definitely recommend getting a silicone muffin tin. It honestly changes the way you make these because you don't have to stress about them cooling and not being able to come out because the silicone does all the hard work for you. Okay, let's start with that. So we still have our ghost face, but look how cute these are. It is time to give one a try. Ooh, I'm so excited. That is one of the best things I've ever eaten.